Hey everyone, this is Jim from the Art of Finance. Welcome back to our channel. We are with you on the last day of the week and the first day of the second half of the year. So this is the 1st of July and we are closing the week with this video. Alright, I will just talk about the recent week. So we have just like a really volatile week, and especially in cryptocurrencies, we have seen a lot of volatility. And then our first chart will be cryptocurrency. But before starting that, I will just mention other things as well. For example, we have had a NATO meeting, and Turkey was just saying no to Finland and Sweden, but then they just made an agreement between each other, and Sweden and Finland will just accept some groups of some terrorist groups as the same with Turkey. They said like that, and then after that thing, we see the acceptance on that one. It's the first step. So they just invite them to NATO. There is kind of accepting process, and then it takes minimum 4 or 5 months, and after that we see total member of NATO. So they will just start that one. And Putin actually said there is no problem with Finland and Sweden, so they can just enter NATO. But if they just become threat to Russia, there may happen consequences. But right now there is no problem of Finland and Sweden joining NATO. They don't see any threat from that. At least it's a good news. And today we have seen European Euro area CPI. So this is important because on Wednesday on a forum in Portugal, Christian Lagarde said something. We will be more hawkish, or just go on the current statement, and according to that CPI that will reported on Friday. So today expectation was 8.4%, but reported number is 8.6%. That means we can expect some hawkish statements from Lagarde if she just keeps her promise. Why I'm saying this? Because she just said they will be hawkish, and then you remember in just one day euro dollar just jumped from 1.10 to almost 1.16, and even you get closer to 20. But then she started to say, all right, you just misunderstood. We don't tell these kind of things. We will still support the economies. Then we have seen that lower level of euro. That's the thing. All right. Let's start with our first chart. As you can see here, Bitcoin is on big decline, and yesterday we have seen, on the mid of June and 1770s, and yesterday as well we get closer to those levels, and we have seen 18,600 levels, and after that this morning we have seen a sudden jump, but it didn't hold there, and it just declined. Let me just show you something why it's important. As you can see here in the at the end of April, and it was trading on the full April months, it was trading around 40k and then declined, and then we have seen May and almost full June trading at 30k and then declined, and right now we see the same thing is happening around 20k. And if these monetary policy of central banks just go on these hawkish statements, we will see lower levels once more, and first it may test 17k, then it may just go down to 15 and even 10k, because liquidity is the biggest problem right now. The central banks are just tightening the markets, and then with less liquidity we see lower levels of Bitcoin. That's the expectation in long term. Let's look at our second chart.
You are ready to win with us. GAN market.
All right, our second chart is euro dollar. As you can see here, euro dollar is on another decline. It has tested lower levels of this year. And actually, as you can see here, this is the lowest level of this year. And it has tested on mid of June. And yesterday it get closer to that level. And today it's getting closer again to same levels. So reason is hawkish statements by Fed and dovish and still supporting statements by Christian Lagarde. As long as we don't see any rate hike, I mean real one, because 0.25% is not a real rate hike for many investors. If you don't see that, euro will just remain at these levels. So just I want to tell you something. And European inflation and US inflation right now at the same level. But in US, there are 1.75 interest rates, and in Europe, 0. So which one will you prefer? Of course, US dollar, because the yield government bonds is higher on that one. So people are just switching from euro to dollar. As long as we see these balance between euro and dollar just getting wider and wider, that gap is getting wider and wider, we will see lower level of euro. That's the expectation for many analysts. All right, that's euro dollar. As I said, on long term, we may even see lower level of euro dollar. Let's look at our last chart. All right, our last chart is wheat. As you can see here, wheat is on a big decline. Main reason for this is first end of on 14th of July, it will just the contract for that will just finish. And the other one is harvest season. So in harvest season, a lot of new stockpiles are just getting filled with new harvest. So the pressure over the stocks are just getting less and less. Another thing is Russia and Turkey made a deal, and that deal is just allowing grain exports from Russia and also from Ukraine to world via Turkish transportation systems like with Black Sea and other ports will just be open for them, and then global export wheat export will be easy. So those are the good news. Why I'm just carrying these wheat prices? Because social stability in especially underdeveloped countries really depends on the price of wheat. That's the basic food. Even if they cannot find anything to eat, they just buy one bread and then they just make themselves full. So when they cannot find even one bread, they are just getting crazy and all social unrest starting. I'm just reminding once more, the Arab Spring just started with one guy burning himself as he couldn't buy any bread for his kids. So he just burned, and then it was just it started a chaotic moment for in all Arabian Peninsula. So that's why wheat prices are important for all the world. And let me just show you how decline happened. As you can see here, from almost 1,300, right now it's testing at 800, and it can go back to 835. And that will be $500 decline, and it's good news for global food inflation. All right, those are the news from the market, and we will cover more charts on Monday. Have a good and safe weekend. Bye.